Good evening, everybody. All right. Unusual, and as I say, I've mentioned this in the chat room, that the market is going up, but can't figure out why. But we don't have to figure out why. All we're doing is analyzing that it is. So here's our scenario. Well. Oh, here's our scenario. In a downtrend, it's a perceived downtrend. If every time they come up, they can't reach a new high. So now it's starting back up, the market, but the Dow hasn't reached this level yet. So if all of a sudden it starts turning around, coming back to test the T-line, that's a little bit more suspicion that even though the downtrend is of this ilk, it might be of this ilk, which still puts us in a situation where there's not a whole lot of upside potential. Over in the NASDAQ, it was a little bit better indication. Well, I didn't do that right. Well, but they did get up through this level. And they pretty much, this isn't quite level, but, well, for crying out loud, making a mess of this. But the fact that they kind of gapped up through this level, that was a good indication. However, today's trading, as we can see, is not very compelling right here in this area. So what we want to be careful of tomorrow is if they start trading this lower, back through this level, get rid of this. There we go. Back down through this level, that might be perceived as this level is also a resistance level, and we might not be going up. We may not be going down, but it's telling us we do not have a, do you not see this trading? Well, it's possible. I mean, that's the whole idea, that if they fail up here, that we could either be in this channel, but over a few weeks could we come back to the bottom of the channel, or even coming back down to this level. In either case, it doesn't make being long very appetizing. Now, the fact that crude oil, well, has been drifting lower, kind of sideways. Today it was down to 93, still trading 93.57. The fact that it's moved from this level down to this level might also be a economic gauge that if things are slowing down, then the demand for crude oil might be diminishing. Well. What? V? Now that's crude. I want to get to gold. Oh, GCAU. Well, man, not doing this well tonight. Up, so gold has bounced up, and I imagine silver has done. Well, I'm going to quit doing this. Yeah, so crude, when it bounced down, basically all it did was move back to the level that everybody was thinking it should move to, as again, and hit that level, and that's the level meeting this week. All right. Okay, so been kind of putting out the analysis of the J-hook pattern setup. Now, there's lots of ways to detect a J-hook pattern setup. Obviously, the pullback. But in this case, the recommendation on EZEK was based on they pulled right smack dab to the 50 and then bounced back up, implying that wave 3 was in progress. So the identification of a pattern setting up can be further enhanced by the type of signals you see at levels that everybody else is watching. Obviously, the 50-day moving average was acting as a support level. I might not have these all in order. Now, there was your breakout on ARRY, more of a fry pan bottom. But when they gap up through this level, it's not only the fact that they're taking the price up, which we can observe, it's telling us they're breaking out through a level that everybody else is watching. That means there's a whole different new, I want to say, criteria in it's. No, not really. That's just a downtrend starting back up again. Wouldn't say it's really a scoop pattern. Because what it might be running into right here is if it starts rolling over, this downtrend is still in effect. All right, so things like Boeing, you can see the J-hook setting up based upon, in this case, the T-line acting as a support level. And this is the benefit of the T-line. Thank you, Bill. All right, there on the 4th. So if this is kind of a wave, where do you think the next wave is likely to go to? Up here. So that's where you can make a much stronger case for maybe not buying calls, but a call spread somewhere up in this range. As you can see, the potential target based upon the pattern. INMD, same scenario. There's your fry pan bottom. There's your J-hook pattern, still in an uptrend. But what becomes even more compelling is the bobble breakout. And the reason the bobble breakout is more powerful or more poignant is because we're seeing the J-hook pattern. Everybody else in the world that's watching this chart is watching to see what they're doing at the 50. We're just a little bit better prepared knowing that if they can go through the 50, everybody's going to start piling in, enhancing that bobble breakout. So this is the type where if I'm looking for a quick day trade situation, I want to be buying something that is has a high probability of moving in the direction we expect it based upon a strong signal pattern breakout, the bobble breakout. Same scenario over here. I recommended SG today on that same prospect, that you've got a J-hook pattern with kind of a morning star signal. So where do you think the next likely target is on this one? Wave 1, wave 3 up into this range. So again, this is nothing more than identifying the signals, patterns, setups that allow us to have a much clearer analysis of what's going on in human nature with additional confirmations. The T-line, the 50, something that shows you exactly where everybody else is watching. I should qualify that. Where everybody's watching here, there's your J-hook pattern. And what's the normal procedure of a price move? If it comes up through a resistance level, they come right back and test it to see if it's going to act as support. If we know what the signals tell us at those levels, such as a bullish harami, right smack dab on a support level, that's pretty good evidence that the selling has stopped right here. Get ready to buy. And if you get ready to start buying, what type of pattern setting up? That little J-hook type pattern. Same scenario on this pullback. Next pattern setup. So this allows us to be much more accurate as far as identifying a trend movement. PLL, ever since our little series of dojis, where do you think the target's going to be? I want to see if they can touch the 50-day moving average. Oh, so again, the more strength or the more pieces of evidence that you can see creating a pattern. For example, there's your bobble breakout with a gap up through that area. If we can say to ourselves, oops, this has the potential of a bobble breakout if it gets back up through the 50. Well, if it's already in our watch list and all of a sudden we see it gap up through the 50, we can be buying immediately. Smack dab, yes, is a technical term. A good old foghorn. So that's what creates a strong price move. Identifying a pattern setup with strong bullish indication. And let's see what else we got here. The J-hook pattern. Wave 1, wave 3 in progress. So here's another piece of evidence that if you can see a pattern setting up, notice what it did right here, kind of a trend kicker signal. When they do that type of move, what's our anticipation? High probability is heading higher. Again, that rhetorical question, do they all move big like this? Definitely not. But you're putting yourself in a situation that most investors don't have the information to take advantage of these type of moves. But if we identify a potential breakout, if I was watching this the next day, I would say, oh, if they open positive and start trading positive, I will be a buyer. The fact that we open and see a gap up, what's that telling us? They're confirming the fry pan bottom, and they're telling us the 50 is not acting as resistance anymore. So you put that into the same category as well, Shazam. I had it right here. That was going to just segue right into it. Where did it just go? I'm going to find it no matter what. Well, for crying out loud. I had another one to just segue right into, and this is a fine howdy do. So much for that. It began with an L. Like L E T R L E P R. Nah. Well, pshaw. Okay. No. Okay, so there's another bobble breakout setting up, telling us if they open this positive, what was it implying? The bobble breakout was working, the 50 was not, or the 200 was not acting as resistance, and this whole level right here was not acting as resistance anymore. I would suspect you could still be buying this one with the anticipation of that type of price move. And HIB, there it is. Folded the page over. So HIB, kind of this trajectory, went up through the bobble breakout area, and now you're sitting at a level that says if this opens positive tomorrow, you're likely to see it move eventually up to the 50-day or the 200-day moving average. Hold on, I'm getting close. I still can't find the darn thing. What is going on here? This is ridiculous. It'll drive me crazy. I know it's here because I just used it in the YouTube, and I can't find it. Maybe that was it. L E R P B. That was it. All right. Thank you, Opie. That was kind of the same scenario right here. You can see the fry pan bottom setup. If it opened positive today, do all moves act like this? No, but it puts you in positions where the probabilities of being in that type of move are greatly in your favor. Okay, so the patterns work well. We did all the bobble breakouts. The J hooks are working. This is LWLG, morning star signal right here where you can see what everybody else is watching. Another one that could be bought on positive trading tomorrow because of the probability. You're looking at a J-hook pattern setup. Wow. J-hook type pattern. Another one that's probably in wave 3, LQDT. ATOS. Observe the obvious. A J-hook pattern bouncing up off the 50 with indecisive trading. We can see the dojis. If it breaks out through this level, where do you think everybody else is watching for the next target? The 200. Will it get there? Have no idea. We watch to see what the trend does, what type of move it gets up there. It could go straight up, or it could do another J-hook on the way up. Same scenario on task. This one breaks out. What's your first target? Right here. What's your potential target? All the way up here. Anyways, I'm always looking for something that has big upside potential, which means the more upside it has, if it works, it's great. If it doesn't work, at least you know you're heading in the right direction. Another gap up. Remember what the gap ups tell us. There's a new strong dynamic on that position. Now, if it goes up through today's high, what's it telling us? This level is not acting as resistance anymore. Well. Heck. Okay. This one is to illustrate that if this is your resistance level, and they're doing a J-hook pattern right at that resistance level, if it comes back up, it's giving you a double confirmation that the J-hook pattern is going higher, which means they're breaking out through this level, which means means other people that were watching to see if it was going to break through this level into a new high start piling in. Okay, I've taken care of all of, no, I haven't. I did wire. DSX, if you see that J-hook pattern, knowing that wave 1 and wave 3 are going to be the same, you watch to see when it goes through that 50, because that's confirming the wave 3 is in progress and this is not going to be a resistance level anymore. HLIT, still taking off after hours. Yep, looks like it's up pretty good. I don't know whether I can. No, can't do it. So wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 is still in progress. Man, I don't know what I was doing. I can't even read my own handwriting. Oh, for crying out loud, okay. RHP, same scenario. Bounced off of 50. Again, if this is wave 1, what's that tell us about wave 3? Wave 3 is probably not going to stop here at the 200-day moving average. Oh, HLI earnings after hours, all right. OM announced earnings of negative 95 cents, which apparently was not as bad as everybody was expecting. So there's your kicker signal. That's telling you a lot. That they're really liking the fact that they didn't apparently report worse earnings and starting to head up again. ULH. Look where your fry pan bottom breakout occurred. Oh, not a good night for trends. So when you get toward that level, start watching to see if they're going to go through. Because if they do go through, apparently everybody's watching to see if it's going to get to a new high. Because the T-line was kind of pushing this up. Now, there are times when you can use the T-line when nothing else is evident. Oh, for crying out loud. Travis, are you in here tonight? There. So I asked Travis today, how did you know to stay in? Let me see if I can. Well, hell's bells. That's not a good illustration of HKT, but Travis was in at 65, and after hours it was as high as 999.99. Didn't quite get to 1,000. So there was nothing on this chart because there was nothing. There was nothing, not enough information. But he said it was still above the T line. So gone from 65 to close to 1,000. That does deserve a Shazam. Yep. So anyways, this is why the indicators that kind of can be applied to candlestick analysis, the T-line being that natural support and resistance level of human nature. Works very well. Now, I don't know why I put this one on here, other than watch to see if this is your typical, comes up, pulls back to the 50. If they start buying this, that's a very good entry point if you start seeing buy signals like a hammer or a doji or something, because that's exactly what normally happens. They come up through a resistance level, come back and test it, and if it shows they're going to support, that means everybody's going to start piling in because they saw it was supporting. Where's the next J-hook pattern go to? And up here with a high degree of, oh, maybe that's what I was watching earlier, that it was already providing a, oh, that's why. It was looking like this, but it hit the 50, and now doing a morning star type signal. You definitely want to see if they're going to open this one positive tomorrow. So this one came back up and closed up here, doing a bullish engulfing morning star signal with a booster. ALDX. This must have had some more to it after hours. Again, telling you it was supporting here at the 200. Now doing a J-hook type pattern. Guess these get goofed up because of what I'm looking at as after hours. There's your J-hook pattern. There's your pullback right to the 200. This is on SKYT. I would suspect wave 3 is in progress. All right, up to so it's up in this range. Okay. Perfect pullback. This is why when we recognize a buy signal, where is it occurring? Obviously right here at the 50-day moving average. If this opens positive, where's your next target? The 200. ASC was kind of that same scenario where you had a harami, a doji sandwich, and a break of this downtrend up through the 50. What do we expect? I don't even know where wave 1 started. That's not. Wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. AXGN. What can we identify on this chart? Well, it just went through the 200. Just went kind of through that resistance level. Kind of a rounding bottom. Another one that's setting up for a strong price move. All right, so this is the Dow futures, which is indicating they're selling off a little bit well before they've gotten up to this level, which now has, unless we wake up tomorrow and it's up strong, that just gives you a forewarning that if they start selling it off here, they still haven't reached this level, which means maybe not a downtrend as a full downtrend, but just a pullback now either to the T-line or the 50, something that indicates the market is still waffling sideways. And this one will be very relevant. But if they start selling it off, then pretty close to this level tells you they failed. Again, back into a sideways mode, which unfortunately makes the summer doldrums just sideways movement. All right, that's about all I've got for tonight. Oh, we didn't do the biggies. NVIDIA, there's your J-hook pattern. That's more compelling. And notice how the J-hook pattern started with your kicker signal, wave 3. So just simple analysis. If your kicker signal is your strongest reversal signal, showing a lot of strength, and you can see that it bounced off a level everybody else was watching, and you can see that it's setting up a J-hook pattern, that just improves the probabilities that you're in the right place at the right time, or that's the right trade. So there's kind of your J-hook pattern again on Tesla. Wave 1, pull back. Where was your next likely target? The 200-day moving average. Now you've got a shooting star in the overbought area that closed below the 200. So if you had been long, I would have stopped out today at where it opened, because if it came back down through there, it was telling you they aren't heading up through the 200. Or if I've stayed long, if it opens lower, we wake up, the market, the futures are showing lower trading, and it's opening lower. Yep, they failed with a shooting star signal at the 200. Apple, want to see this stay above the 200. Oops. Amazon, Doji. Probably want to put a safety stop down here somewhere at the lows. And Netflix is kind of the weak sister, not really doing much of anything in here. Wouldn't be trading this one. Okay, I guess that's about all I've got for tonight. Are there any general questions on candlesticks? Oh, I forgot a couple. On the short side, look at the strength of this downtrend. There's kind of your bearish kicker signal. There's kind of your bearish signal where they opened it below the previous day's open at the T-line. And notice what they did today. They took it up to the T-line area and sold it off. Stochastic still heading down. Why do I point this out? Because if you'd been short, this would have been a very anxiety trade where it's bouncing around, even though we've come off a strong sell signal. However, the final criteria is they haven't been able to close it above the T-line. Now that one right there would have been a bad hair day. Would have been a simple trade. If they had opened positive and started trading positive the next day, you close it out. But notice what this signal is right here. That's not a signal. That's just an up day and a downtrend. And Boot was kind of the same scenario. Where you can see the sell signal that just basically touched the 50-day moving average. Next day, they closed it below the T-line. And what is the overall trend on this one? Hit the 50, traded down. Hit the 50, traded down. You're essentially in a downtrend. So even today, it started out with a trading positive, but by the end of the day, still telling us that these sell signals are still working. QCOM, we would have shorted this one had it opened lower and started trading lower. But as you can see, based upon the candle, as soon as they opened it, they waffled it, wasn't really selling it off, and they started to take it right back up again, which would have told us that there's buying here, not doing what we expected it to be doing on a short trade. Had a bearish Harami at the 50, at the 200. Had a bearish doji sandwich. Another up day, but it wasn't a reversal signal. And then a bearish kicker signal back through the T-line. Would still be shorting this one if it comes back down through today's open in tomorrow's trading, because that's a lot of force to the downside. Pretty much implying, this overall downward trend might still be in progress. Micron, yes. Now this one would have been closed out because of this right here. And then it's never been able to get back below the T-line. I'm trying to make this bigger. However, what's it telling us? It's telling us that the 50 still seems to be a hurdle. If this opens lower, yes, it's still a viable short. If you look at the other ones, well, Advanced Micro is doing the bullish J-hook pattern, kind of a bobble breakout, and AMAT, same scenario, not real strong, but heading in the right direction. You had your kind of J-hook kicker type signal. Right now you just stay long. If I was long, I'd have a safety stop at today's open, because if it came back down through there with stochastics in the overbought area, that means they might be coming back to test the 50 one more time. Okay, any general questions on candlestick analysis? Do you use a log scale for price? I notice charts look very different with a different scaling, but candlesticks still look the same. Will you only use log or arithmetic over here? I don't have it on these charts, but I usually do it on the charts that I'm watching, because it helps me calculate if it moves from here to here, what percentage move is that? And it really doesn't matter what you use, because this is the important part of your analysis. Whether you're using logarithmic or arithmetic, doesn't matter. As long as you can calculate that if this moves up, is it a 6% move or is it a 60% move? How improve timing of buy of kicker like OM? If you see something moving, if I see something moving like this, and let's say it's trading right here, it's a kicker type signal, I'm thinking, well, should I be buying this? I just flipped to the 10-minute chart, and it kind of whipped around there. Did they stop trading for a while? Apparently they did. So if I'm seeing something like this, I'm probably not doing anything. But as soon as I see this, that tells me, up they're still buying. That's when you could be buying. And what was the big mover today? Did it? L? No, now I've forgotten it already. L. Can't remember. But anytime I see something that is moving big to the upside, I'll flip to the 10-minute chart and see whether they're still buying. Now, if they're still buying, does that mean, Jamela, for some reason I can't get HKT over here. They must not have put it on over here yet. LERPB. Now what have I done? Oh, that's all right. So if you see it right here, and you say, well, should I be buying? Well, you flip to your 10-minute chart. It looks like this. Well, maybe not, maybe not. Well, maybe I'll be buying here. Or I can be buying here. They must have stopped trading this for a little bit. As you can see, they gap down and there's some spaces missing. So here is one trading technique that I use. Whether this is a stock or a commodity, if on my 10-minute chart I see this happening, I use all the same criteria that I would on a daily chart. Meaning, one, man, oh man, this is way up here, way far away from the T-line. What is this? This is in danger zone. If I see this going on, the first time I see a sell signal or see any selling, I take profits, because what's all the same scenario? Look how far away you are from the 10-minute T-line, and look how far away you are from any T-line down here. So what do you think is going to happen if a stock goes from 20 to 80 in the matter of over an hour? Somebody's going to start taking profits. Usually when they start taking profits, that means they finally come to an equilibrium where the bulls and the bears have hit the same analysis. And that usually tells you that most of the trading after that is not going to be great. The only time it would be great would be if they came down and then they came back up through this level. That's when you could be buying back, because that tells you they are buying. Whereas if they can't ever get back up to that level, it means it's going to be moving sideways. Okay. Is that HKD AMTD Digital, the digital media part of? Jay, I have no idea. Travis, you have to answer that question. All right. I guess if that's it, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And in 3.6 seconds, do the next double line. Oops, better get back. This. EXAS. You could get ready to buy, especially if it came up through here. And Uber, same scenario. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying on positive trading tomorrow. Good setups. BTTX, that one you want to be buying. There was your message. Just make sure your volume is big. And what's this essentially telling you? There's a new dynamic now in that stock. Gov, well, how about that? Why won't they come up over here? Oh, pshaw. This is oh. Could be. If I was long, Tim, I would just put a safety stop below today's low. CHS, just stay long. Do you see a sell signal? Roy. Not found. Did I type it wrong? G-R-O-Y. No Groy. TLBL or TBLT, you just stay long. looking for the classic pattern to break out to the upside. Now, the reason this one's interesting is it has come from way up. So it's got the potential of moving back up here, which would be a big percentage move. EOSE, another big fry pan bottom, J-hook pattern. I would suspect your first target is at least testing the 200. Whoops. You stay long, but observe the obvious. Look where your doji occurred. Right smack dab at a potential resistance level in the overbought area. Makes this very simple. If you were long, wave 1, kind of wave 2, wave 3, the same as wave 1, a doji at the 50, I would not want to see it trade back below today's low. If it did, it's pretty much telling you they've failed there at the 50. Flowers, nothing exciting until they can break out through the top. Nicola, I would just stay long. J-hook pattern in progress. Toast. Nothing wildly exciting. If you're long, stay long. But you would definitely want to see this double doji open positive tomorrow. If it opens positive, it could probably even be a buyer. All right, watch to see which way they open MMI. Because of the doji. J-hook pattern on NCS. Not a very exciting mover, but probabilities are that it's heading for the 200-day moving average on a J-hook wave 3. This is not good. The fact that they opened this near the low end of the previous day, that's not a good bullish sign. That also tells you that if you're long and they open this lower tomorrow, close it out immediately. AMGN, be ready to go short on this if it opens weaker tomorrow. XP, fry pan bottom, stay long on this one. Rely, another J-hook type pattern that you could be buying on positive trading. Clove, just stay long. Cisco, another one where you stay long, but use the T-line as your stop. And Deere, another one that opened too low. So there's your bearish Harami doji. If this opens lower tomorrow, it's coming back to test the T-line. Leg missed, all right. Did I do that wrong? CHS. Well, Chico's. Nothing on this chart that would create any excitement. It needs to break up through this level. Apple is a gap up, but that's not a strong signal up here. they opened it down near the previous day's open, kind of a shooting star. If this opens lower tomorrow, which also would probably be a function of the market in general, you want to close it out because it's going to at least come back and test the support level. NVIDIA, J-hook pattern still working. Just stay long on this one. Let's see. The steels were acting well today. U.S. Steel still working. And I think we looked at Steel Dynamics. That one's still working. All right, so the important thing we want to look at tomorrow is how they open the Dow. Right now, the pre-market futures are showing that it's down a little bit, which doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. We need to see it probably trading flat or positive on the open. Okay, I guess with that, everybody have a good evening. We will see you bright and early in the chat rooms tomorrow. Oh, Vincent. Lily, kind of a nothing chart. Probably wouldn't even be going short because it's got too much support in here. All right, everybody, see you in the